Why thought matters so much for AI? uh, this seems a stupid joke, but as a kind of, oh, my watch, in order not to. Champollion, on November 6, 1824, consider like a date, wrote what I find such a romantic letter to his brother about what he was discovering in Egypt. I have seen rolling in my hand the name of years whose history has completely lost the memory. The names of gods who have no altars for 15 centuries. I gathered, scarcely breathing, fearing to reduce it to powder, a small piece of papyri, the last and only refuge of the memory of a king who in his lifetime perhaps found too small the immense palace of Karnak. I find it really amazing, this description, finding the name of years we have lost the memory, and then what remains of this pharaoh is some piece of paper, some few protons, if you want, protons of Pharaoh. But in fact, this might make so that the name of the Pharaoh survive, because this is the effect of writing, for instance. The fact that some name exists. Imagine how many billions of humans have lived before the invention of the writing, and then we forgot the name of all those people, because I cannot believe that they all have as a name Proto. I suppose that they have names like Titius, Caius, or Sempronius, or something similar, but they were not written, and that disappear. And also the discovery, when the name has been discovered in the decipheration of hieroglyphs, the fact that there was a design that explained that this is not a short story, but is the name Cleopatra, for instance. Well, this is the beginning. What has this to do with the fact of AI? Let's go to a famous dialogue of Plato, in which the Phaedrus, in which Plato explains a lot of subject in this dialogue, and some critics has been said it's not a good dialogue because he speaks about too many things. But there is a thing in particular which is important, and this is a myth that is brand new, constructed by Plato. Plato usually makes a lot of myth in its dialogues, but this is a myth expressly written by Plato, invented by Plato, and is the myth of the invention of the writing, or better, the dialogue between the Pharaoh, Thamus, and Thot, the god or the half god inventor who invented writing. And you all know this history. The half god goes to the pharaoh and shows a series of invention, some very serious geometry, mathematics, other just games, and shows the writing and says, this is a very important invention because is a remedy, a pharmacon for the memory. But the pharaoh rejects the invention of Plato, yes, of Plato also, but of Thot in the representation, and says that on the very opposite, the writing is a pharmacon, because pharmacon has a double meaning in Greek, is either the remedy, either the poison, and says you invented a poison for the memory, because the people were convinced that they have kind of something in the head, and in fact they have simply something in their pocket, for instance, in the library. If you have something in your library, it's not in your mind, it's outside. And this is, and we know very well that the people without writing have a strongest memory because they need to have it, whereas for us is not so important. And now with this is the real poison for the memory, because before searching something, is very simple. You look here, and this is the controversial status of writing in Plato's myth. By the way, it was, in fact, there is a reason, there is a paradox, because Plato is writing, and by its writing criticize the writing, and seemingly the reason was that at the epoch in the primary school of Attics was becoming the use of teaching to the children the writing, because the writing existed since a lot of centuries, but was something technique, like make the program for the computer, not something that was teaching for everyone. And the criticism was that you have not to go to the school of Plato, for instance, since you just buy the books. If you learn 22 letters, then you will learn everything you need. So there was also a reason for creating this kind of fight against the writing. But the paradox is that not only the evident paradox that I already told, that Plato writes against writing. And if we remember the criticism of writing done by Plato, is for the very same reason we remember the name of the pharaoh and so on and so forth, because it was written. But Socrates and Phaedrus, in fact, shows something more evident, because the people dialoguing in the dialogue are one Socrates and the second is Phaedrus. And Phaedrus asks Socrates, but what is the real logos, the real thing, and not just the imitation like the writing, and the answer of Phaedrus is the true logos is written in the soul. Written in the soul. Think about this. The criticism of writing says writing is a false imitation of what? Of the discourse, the true logos written in the soul. And we know that the typical image of the mind for the Greeks, but also for a lot of modern thinkers, is a tablet of wax on which was written things. The image is so. You criticize the writing. You say that writing is a false memory, but you say that the true memory is the logos written in the head and the soul of the persons. This paradox applies also for ideas, because for Plato, the idea is the perennial, the eternal. But what is perennial or eternal is the continual possibility of iteration of something, so that the principle of the eternity is in the writing, not in the logos. If you can idealize something, it's because you can go on iterating like when you see a galaxy, you see, in a sense, the idea of a galaxy, because it's the memory of something that happened millions, billions of years before. You are looking like a memory, but this is not now. In 3 minutes, I will explain why, as in the title of my thought, is so important for AI. First, the natural intelligence includes artificial intelligence. In which sense? I speak English badly, an horrible and ugly English, because I studied not enough English at the school. And this is something artificial. It was not natural. And also the Italian for me is not natural. If my mother did not give me the example, my parents and friends and so on, I will never, so that all we have in our head as natural intelligence, in fact, is artificial intelligence. Is something coming from outside, entering our soul and transforming our soul in something we consider natural, but in fact is artificial intelligence. So our mind is embodied. This is the difference between, the only difference between myself and this one is that I have a body and he don't, and this makes a lot of difference. For instance, I will die, he don't. But apart this point remains that the world created by the Pharaoh, by Thot, by the writing, is something that nowadays is exploding. because we now we now we are living not only in a place in which we see a galaxy that lived billions of years ago, but also we live in an infosphere like it was the case also of the pharaoh and a docusphere right now. Every single action we are doing produces leave traces, and this is the gigantic transformation. For the Greeks, the Egyptians were the people of writing, and there is the reference, the famous reference in which there is a solo that the priest of Memphis will say to Solo, you Greeks, you are always young because you have no memory, because you have no documents. And what is happening now, and this is the reason why Thot is so important for AI, is that we are producing a gigantic amount of document in every single moment. What was ephemeral, quasi-casual in the case of the people without writing, or the people in which you have to choose, should I write, should I save, or should I don't save this document? Now everything, including the cough or the tears, are recorded and create this gigantic monument that we call artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is nothing different from the recording of all the data that fulfill our world. And it could be also a good question for a physicist to know whether if seemingly, and this will be the last point of my presentation, will be soon be in a situation in which the amount of data existing in our memory is larger than the amount of protons that constitutes our universe. Thank you very much.